Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Tom Robinson. Today we're going to talk about our favorite power pop albums of all time. So let's get started. I'm going to start off with number 10 with Nick Lowe's debut, Pure Pop for Now People, also known as Jesus of Cool, but this is a US version. A great debut from Nick. First side just plays like almost like a greatest hit. So It Goes, Sound of Breaking Glass, Marie Provost, Heart of the City. I mean, just a great album. He can really write well, he sings well, plays well. Later on, he would join, soon after this, maybe like 2 or 3 years, he would join Rockpile with Dave Edmunds, and of course, produce many Elvis Costello classics. Number 9, I've got Tom Petty's second album, You're Gonna Get It. This is an album that no one really talks about that much. I think it's very underrated. People talk about the first album and then they skip over and go to Damn the Torpedoes, but no one really talks about this, and it has some really great power pop. When the Time Comes, Too Much Ain't Enough, I Need to Know, Listen to Her Heart. A lot of other obscurities like Magnolia, No Second Thoughts, but overall it just plays really well, flows really well. And that's my number 9, Tom Petty's You're Gonna Get It from '78. Number 8, the debut from Fountains of Wayne. This is what you call a pretty seamless record. Starts off with Radiation Vibe. What a great just pumping track. And other favorites on here, She's Got a Problem, love it. Sick Day, You Curse the Girls, Everything's Ruined, ends the album. Great CD here. This came out in '96. And it's the only album I really like by them. I didn't really like anything after this, but this is so solid. Great power pop record. 1996 Fountains of Wayne debut. Number 7 is the debut from Emmett Rhodes from 1970. Emmett Rhodes was, of course, part of the Merry-Go-Round. They had a couple of hits back in '67, You're a Very Lovely Woman and Live. And the whole, if you can catch that first Merry-Go-Round album at a sale or anything, pick it up because it's pretty flawless. There's a lot of great material, but this is a stellar album. He plays all the instruments, kind of like McCartney did on his debut. There's so many great tracks. It starts off with My Face on the Floor, She's Such a Beauty, Promises I Made. Actually, I'm reading the back of this. I got to remember. Side 1 started off with My Face on the Floor, She's Such a Beauty. One of my favorites on here, though, is Long Time No See. Throughout the album, though, the drums sound very cardboard boxish, I would say. They sound like cardboard boxes, but it's just a raw recording. It's heartfelt, great melodies, and highly recommended. Emmett Rhodes' first album, his debut, 1970. Number 6, we're going to go with 1991's Teenage Fan Club's Bandwagon-esque. Their first album, I don't think they ever made a better record, and every tune on here just kicks ass. There's nothing like the combination of like Neil Young meets Big Star. It's fantastic. The concept starts it off. My favorite songs on here, Metal Baby is so good, so catchy. Star Sign is great. What You Do to Me almost sounds like a Cheap Trick song, but the whole album is great. And that is my number 6, Teenage Fan Club Bandwagon-esque from 1991. Number 5 are the great unsung Game Theory. Great band. Was really into this act back in the mid-80s, 84, 85, 86. They released a trio of albums. This is part of it. The first one was called Real Nighttime, I believe, and then there was this album, and then Lolita Nation. Those trifecta of records are just outstanding. This is my favorite. When I first bought it, I didn't even know who Game Theory was. I just had this hype sticker at the store at a place called Moby Disc, and I read it. I'm like, I'm going to give it a shot. And it was just, first listen, so awesome. The late Scott Miller was just a brilliant songwriter, composer. Really unique take on power pop. Of course, there's some Big Star influence going on in there, but his own take, and it's very unique. It starts off with Here Comes Tomorrow, Where Are You Going Northern, And then Erica's Word was the song that they tried to make a hit out of, but it never happened. It got a little airplay on MTV. Then they get into this acoustic tune here, Regenus Rain, which sounds like CSNN. I mean, it's like, it's right up there with CSNN. The harmonies, incredible. And then side 2 is just as good, Crash Into June, Book of Millionaires, ends with Like a Girl Jesus. When I saw Game Theory back in '87 when they were promoting Lolita Nation, and I saw Scott Miller before the show, and I asked him, I said, you going to play Like a Girl Jesus tonight? And he goes, yeah, I think so. And so, really nice guy. It's a real shame what happened. He passed away 10 years ago, took his own life, but we still have these great albums, great music, and I highly recommend this album if you've never heard it, and their other 2 albums, Lolita Nation, which is a double album. It's kind of like a 1980s version of the White Album done Scott Miller way, and the first album, Real Nighttime, '84. But number 5, Game Theory, great record. Number 4, the classic Heaven Tonight by Cheap Trick. What can you say? Just about every tune is top. Surrender, On Top of the World, California Man, Taking Me Back, love that song. Heaven Tonight, Stiff Competition rocks. Great album, came out in '78. This was kind of the precursor to their live album, which made them like superstars at Budokan. I almost put in Budokan on there, but I really like this one a lot. So, number 4, Cheap Trick, Heaven Tonight, 1978. And number 3, I'm going to get it for you right now. Let me dig in here real quick. I forgot to pull it out, but this is my number 3 favorite power pop album of all time, The Smithereens, Especially for You. Absolutely fantastic. The whole album. Strangers When We Meet, Listen to My Girl, Groovy Tuesday, Cigarette. One of my favorite songs of theirs, Time and Time Again. And then, of course, Behind the Wall of Sleep, Blood and Roses, Alone at Midnight. Just fantastic. Pat Denizio is great. Great songwriter. Another one we lost a while back. I met Pat Denizio as well before a Smithereens show at the Ventura Theater back in the late 80s. And before we went into the show, some friends of mine, we stopped at a coffee house or coffee shop, and there was Pat Denizio just sitting there, and he was just by himself reading a book about the Rolling Stones, and we shot the shit for a little bit. I told him I was in a band, and he was like, oh, that's cool. And then he goes, you should stick around afterwards. We'll hang out in the band and blah, blah, blah. And we never did. I don't know what happened. I think maybe a friend, his girlfriend had to take his girlfriend home. I don't know what happened, but we blew it. We blew not hanging out with the Smithereens. So, but I saw them several times over the years when Pat Denizio was in the band, and one of the great live acts. And I highly recommend this album, Green Thoughts, their second album, and Especially for You, their third album. No. Their third album is, what is it? 11, sorry. Their first 3 albums, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with this record. Number 3. Number 2, one of my favorite albums of the 90s, and probably obviously one of my favorite power pop albums, Matthew Sweet's Girlfriend from 1991. What a masterpiece of a record from start to finish. Divine Intervention, I've Been Waiting, Looking at the Sun, all the way through to the end. Just one excellent song after another. Love Matthew's voice. It's great guitar playing on this record all over it. Just kind of Neil Youngish kind of style, grinding. And if you have the CD, if you can find the CD still off Zoo Records, there's 3 bonus cuts that all kick ass too. Does She Talk, Holy War, and Nothing Lasts. If this is still around, pick it up. I don't know if the reissues have those tracks on them, but anyway, a fantastic album. I picked up this pink label version, a limited version a while back, because I had to have this on vinyl. So, do you want to take a look at the pink vinyl? Okay, let's give it a shot here. This is really cool. Look at that. Matthew Sweet on pink vinyl, right? Very cool. So that's my number 2, Matthew Sweet Girlfriend. That was a real life-changing album for me. It just stuck with me for so long. I still love it. And number 1, well, You just really can't go wrong with this masterpiece. It is my favorite power pop record and possibly in my top 10 albums of all time. Radio City, Big Star. This is the kind of the standard by which all power pop is based, in my opinion. Absolute genius songwriting on here. Oh My Soul, Life is White, Way Out West, the guitars on that song. That's the thing about this album. The guitars are doing very unique things, very melodic things, and it's just one of the best guitar albums ever. I love what's going on. You Get What You Deserve. I mean, back to back, Maud Lang, Back of a Car, Daisy Glaze is so awesome, and then of course September Girls, and I'm in Love with a Girl. This is my #1 power pop album of all time, Radio City, Big Star, 1974. And then I thought I'd mention a couple of obscure honorable mentions that fit into the power pop category. One is this. Chris Mars, former drummer of The Replacements, or the initial drummer of The Replacements, put this out in '92. I cannot believe how good this record is. Just top to bottom, amazing songwriting. Whoever thought Chris Mars, right? Just thought of him as the drummer, but he's a kick-ass songwriter too. I highly recommend it. Great ballads on here. Get Out of My Life. Don't You See It? Great power pop songs. If you find a used copy somewhere, pick this up. It's Chris Mars, let me see. Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. Horseshoes and Hand Grenades from '92. Pick it up. And then another one I wanted to shout out to that never gets any love in the power pop community is the debut album from Code Blue. This is an honorable mention. Top to bottom, amazing album. I bought this, or no, my brother gave this to me back in 1980. And first listen, just loved it. It's infectious, kind of Who type style, but with his own kind of stamp on it. The lead singer is named Dean Chamberlain. And previously he was in the first incarnation of the Motels. And he formed Code Blue. I think this was just a one-off. And I did see them several times back in the early 80s. Even one time opening for Thin Lizzy. That was kind of interesting. But anyway, highly recommend this album. Top to bottom, excellent power pop. 3-piece band, Code Blue. And that finishes off this segment of top 10 power pop albums. And please hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate that. And please leave comments below. I want to know what your favorite power pop records are. And that's it for now. We'll see you soon. Bye.